everyone, my name is Jennifer Henderson and my project is entitled Online Course Design Training. This course was built on the Canvas LMS platform for incoming UNA faculty to be able to build their own high quality online course. This course, the project answered, or the question they answered is, how does one successfully design a high quality online course? The purpose of my project was to be able to enable current and incoming UNA faculty to receive in-house training and instruction on how to design a high quality online course. There was not an in-house resource for faculty to use before, other than really the QM rubric to design their online courses, so this helps solve that problem. And the training helps faculty learn how to identify, evaluate, and design the necessary components in order to complete the training and design their high quality online course. Each module covers a different component of the design process, and during this design process I used the following frameworks. Backward design, as we know, helps keep the focus on the goals of the project and the objectives of the project rather than the topic, and it also helps to ensure that the learning objectives are kept at the forefront. The course learning objectives are kept at the forefront of the entire design process, helping to ensure alignment throughout the course. I used Agile, which allows a staged approach to the instructional design process and frequent collaboration with my stakeholders, including the SME. I used the ADDIE process in order for the initial analysis, building the course map, and getting feedback from my SME. Constructivism will help faculty and staff be able to take their own experiences and put it in practice through this design process of the online course design training. And as we know, when we build a course using accessibility principles, then that allows for a space for all users to be engaged and active within the course. Connectivism also allowed me to add material and activities which allow faculty to connect with previous knowledge and experience and bring it back into this experience of this online course design training. The goal and objective I knew going into this project included building an online course design and being able to, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Being able to, upon completion, they will be able to identify components in designing a high quality online course. They'll be able to explain the elements found within a high quality online course, and they also will be able to successfully design a high quality online course themselves. Now, the constraints and limitations going into this project included access to certain materials and resources as the student, my own limitation of technology knowledge, the time constraint on this project, and my own video production knowledge. The objectives I've discovered during this design process was my own knowledge and use of Canvas and City Labs, which I had had very little prior. The constraints and limitations I discovered during the project were that UNA uses the regular City Labs version instead of the Design Plus, and the Design Plus, which helps edit images faster, etc. So it would have saved a little bit of time and a little bit of work to be able to use the Design Plus. Also, I'd never worked with self-checks before, so I had to learn that. The time constraint again around this project and being back and forth editing with the ETS department was also a limitation and constraint. The ethical concerns surrounding this project included the licensing and copyright of each material and resource, just ensuring that your works are cited properly back in the APA style for each resource and material used, also making sure that each copyright follows the guidelines that they should. And the challenges I discovered during this project was the editing time it took back and forth between the ETS department and the SME and myself. Also, the version of City Labs, as I mentioned before, was a challenge because it would have been much easier to have the Design Plus version of City Labs. Ensuring that all everything in this was licensed in the correct way it needed to be, and that it was a resource and material that was able to be used, and then it was also cited properly in APA style. Also, the technology module was a challenge, as the ETS department didn't really know what they wanted in that module. They were back and forth between how-to videos and resources, so that was a challenge. And in the end, we just decided to format that module. And because they have a new incoming boss for ETS, then they will, over the summer, look at that module and decide everything that should go in it and build that module, and then the course will be ready to go. So this is the meat and potatoes of this project, the 3 accomplishments that I accomplished during this project, and I will share my screen, which will show the course for this project. So let's go to that. And so here we see, will be the homepage that the learners see whenever they get on. It's the welcome screen. It explains the course and about that design processes are cyclical and iterative, and you have to go back and forth, especially with accessibility and other design principles throughout the whole process instead of step by step. But one of my major accomplishments during this process was that I was able to gain some new instructional design skills and tools for my instructional design toolbox. I was able to apply Andragogy and Knoll's adult learning principles, as well as Myers multimedia principles, to this project and design process. This allowed the learners to take charge of their own learning. As we can see, this is an asynchronous online course, so faculty can come in and they can click module by module on their own time outside of the work they already have to do for their own courses, and start building and evaluating the courses that they have or want to build going forward. This, as I stated, helps learners take charge of their own learning, and also helps solve the problem of UNA not having an in-house resource for their faculty to utilize on designing a high-quality online course. You know, before they were using the QM rubric, which is great, but this actually incorporates those principles into one course, which expands the design process for them, and it allows them to be able to complete a high quality online course design upon completion of this training. And we can see that they will click here on their writing learning objectives, and they will, that once this module opens, which I apologize, it's taking a few minutes, they will come to the writing learning objectives page. They will see a consistent color theme throughout. They will see that here are their learning objectives, and then they have their instructional material. And I've also used images, as we know with Myers multimedia principles, that visuals, etc., can enhance their comprehension. So this is what I've done in a lot of the modules. And I've also used a combination of text and images and video, so that follows along with the principle. And also with the Andragogy principles, we can see that I've also incorporated engaging learning activities with each. There's a self-check for a portion of their assessment to help them assess what their knowledge is. And there's also an engaging learning activity in each course, or in each module, I apologize. And the developing learning activities will go here, as there is an engaging learning activity in this one. We can see that we scroll down, we see that there's an image which actually links to an article which explains more to them about engaging students with Padlet, etc., in case they want to do that in Portal. And we see that they have a self-check assessment. We have the learning activity template, which they will click on and use as a resource to help them evaluate their learning activities. And then also they click here and they go to their learning activity themselves, which is actually a Padlet built into the course. And once they get upon the Padlet, they will see, once it loads, that there is instruction for using Padlet, and they also will be creating, they'll go down here, click the plus button and create their own Padlet discussing an engaging learning activity they like or have implemented in a course, and then they'll share it here. And then anyone that takes this will be able to see everyone's Padlet, and so they can share engaging learning activities with each other and take this forward. So that was one accomplishment within this project, is that I was able to incorporate those. The next accomplishment was that I was able to help learn the intricacies and the skills of both Canvas and City Labs. Learning both Canvas and City Labs helped me to create a course which was more engaging for learners. It allowed me to provide engaging activities and content within this course, which will help them be engaged further. And also it sets an example for them of what an online course, high quality online course is. So we can see here that with City Labs, and actually let's go to this one, we've already seen the first module. We can see on building a course foundation that once it loads, I apologize for this taking so long. We can see here that whenever this module loads, that I was able to incorporate various elements into this training, which allows for a engaging course for them. They've also got a disclaimer. So City Labs helped me to design that so that I could have it on each module going forward, explaining to them that it is a cyclical and repetitive process, and that they need to keep in mind the aesthetics, design, technology, and accessibility of everything in each module going forward and in their design process, not just in those design modules. We see they have their learning objectives. We see that City Labs allowed me to break instructional materials into chunks, in which we know helps keep them more engaged and helps keep their learning under help assist them in being a motivated learner. We can see that it allowed me to build assessments. City Labs, especially if I had not had City Labs, I would not have been able to tab these. They instead would have been one on top of the other, making this page much longer and much harder for especially people with screen readers to be able to follow. So this actually will helps in the design process, helps to keep the page a little bit shorter and a little bit cleaner. So, and then we can see down here, City Labs allowed me to actually link references back onto a separate page instead of having references at the bottom of each page. So Canvas and City Labs allowed me to do that. And if I had not had that knowledge, if I hadn't been able to teach myself City Labs and Canvas at the beginning before I ever started this design process, if I hadn't been able to take that time to do that, I would not have been able to design such an organized course. And this really helped me accomplish that goal of learning those and incorporating them into my design process. So the biggest accomplishment I had was being able to apply design principles for this course also, from gamification, including color, typography, layout, and composition, and images, and put that all into this course. We can see in designing with accessibility that I was able to take this course and design it in a way that I was able to use a consistent colors theme, which aligned with UNA colors. I was able to lay it out and make sure it was composed in a clean, organized manner. I was able to make sure the font was correct in the typography. I was able to make sure that all images and videos used aligned, etc. So, and my huge major accomplishment with this course was that I actually designed almost the entire course minus the module page. So we can go step by step. We've already done this. You can see that the learning assessments, this is that module for that. And you can see that it's the same as almost every other module. There's your learning objectives, your instructional material, your assessments, your activity, and then your references. And the same with implementing design and aesthetics. You can see that the learning objectives, why design and aesthetics matter, and then you see I have it chunked into the different design principles for them. And it's taking a few minutes to load, but there's a video with each thing which actually does play. It's just taking a while to load today. Sometimes internet is against us. And we can see the assessment, and they will be putting in this because they want to decide what learning assessment activity they want to, or design activity they want to do. And then the technology page we can see is just formatted. So that it has it's ready for them to click it and put in resources. And then the evaluating qualities page. And this would be the end. And one thing I wanted to be able to point out was that at the bottom of each page, there we go. At the bottom of each page, they have a next button here and a previous button here, except for on this last page, which has previous. And so they can come to each module and they can move through with each button, like they can click next and do that module and then click next. Or they can come over here and click on the side. So this gives them an example of what a high quality online course is and how to set it up. And this is their example. So the accomplishment I have is that this is an example for them to use on designing a high quality online course, because it is a high quality online course. So the objectives I met or didn't meet during this project are that I was able to design the entire online course. I was able to research all the materials. I was ensured that all the material fell under copyright licensing and ensured the course accessible. I did not get the technology module in there because I was not able to, ETS and I were not able to figure out what they wanted in there. The lessons I learned were that design is much different in the real world than it actually is in the student world. Your stakeholders will change their mind. You have to be able to take constructive criticism. It did, however, teach me patience and flexibility, which is important going forward. And also it taught me not to take so long on making decisions. So that is why all that is important. And will I be going through on the future? Yes, because I'm actually presenting to the ETS department over the summer. And my final thoughts for the project are that I've learned so much with this project. I came to look at my professor, Dr. Moore, in a different way because he was such a good mentor. He taught me so much more with design. He taught me video production, which actually is helping me do this. He taught me, Canvas and City Labs. There's so much that along the way that he taught me. And would I do a few things differently? Maybe, but I think in the end, it was the limitations that kept me kind of, the things that I done differently is have the technology module complete. I had such a wonderful experience and learned so much more than just instructional design skills with this. I really learned the real world skills, and I really am grateful for that. Thank you.